Fairy Tail is back, and this was not a good chapter, not at all. It feels so goddamn rushed to the point where I question if this was originally the plan or they just decided to say, you know what, I'm just going to cut out the next 5 chapters and just shove it all into one. Like, they just beat Fire and Flame. And it doesn't even make sense, like, power-wise, because Lucy defeats one of the Scenario Sisters. I don't even know how that makes sense. I mean, I would understand if at a certain point they were all, like, combining attacks to defeat the entire group together, like it was a group-on-group fight, but that's not what happened. What happened was, while it looked like a group-on-group fight, it was really just a bunch of one-on-ones, and each individual member of Fairy Tail just defeated their individual opponent. And the worst part is, the way that they seem to want to justify Fire and Flame losing right here is because Fire and Flame got weaker as they turned into dragons. The only problem is, we literally saw that anyone who gets dragonified becomes stronger. Like, ordinary townspeople who became dragons were now able to smash apart buildings in a single shot. So it doesn't make sense that a normal civilian person could become building plus level just by dragonification, but when it came to Fire and Flame, they all got weaker. And once again, the only reason I'm saying that is because the chapter and the previous chapters keep implying that because they're not real dragons, there's a fault in their strength, and this is what allows them to be defeated so easily by Fairy Tail. Fire and Flame are the only people who apparently got weaker as they became dragons, while everyone else on the continent became stronger. Once again, this is stupid and doesn't make any sense. And yet, for the last 3 chapters, they have been heavily implying that that's the case. And this chapter apparently proves that out. What? This is dumb. This doesn't make any sense. Why would you do this? It really does feel like there was a plan to have this fight basically become a group fight between Fairy Tail and Fire and Flame, and they all have to do these combination attacks, work through it, but then halfway through, Mashima decided, hey, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. Let's just end the fight. So let's make up the excuse that Fire and Flame are actually weaker than they originally were because they aren't true dragons, and so they don't have true dragon fire, or some crap like that. I don't know. It's just, why? I mean, I understand the lesson that they're trying to put forth with this, because the members of Fire and Flame basically threw away their humanity. In fact, they even say humans are worthless. They're lower than worms. That's why they set fire to an entire town in this chapter, basically just lighting innocent people on fire because they can, because, you know what, they have no value. They're humans. And because members of Fire and Flame are so obsessed with being dragons, this is what leads to their downfall. That makes perfect sense. That's actually a great storytelling implement. The only issue is the execution. They didn't have to do this for that plotline to actually work out. They could have still had Fairy Tail had full-on fights with Fire and Flame and win, but in a more realistic, reasonable manner that actually gave respect to Fire and Flame. Instead of having one-on-one fights where Fairy Tail members just speed, blitz, and crush every member of Fire and Flame, you actually have a proper group-on-group fight between these two guilds. And Fairy Tail, of course, wins, showing the members of Fire and Flame that just because they're dragons now doesn't mean they're now superior to humans. This way, you could have had the message you were looking for, but at the same time, it could have been executed in a manner that makes sense and actually works for the story. And this can definitely happen in Fairy Tail, because we've had a similar moment like this during the Edel's arc, when the 3 Dragon Slayers, Natsu, Wendy, and Gajeel, fought against the Mechanical Dragon King. The point of that fight was to show that the 3 Dragon Slayers raised by dragons were the true dragons all along, and not this mechanical thing that the King of Edelis was able to control. Here, it could be humans are not worthless. In fact, they have the ability to overcome even dragons by defeating the Fire and Flame members who have been dragonified. But no, we didn't get that. We just got dragonification actually nerfed them because they're not real dragons, so they don't have the real power of a dragon. That's just dumb. There's no other word for it. It's dumb. I don't know why they went this route. I don't know how we ended what started out to be one of the more interesting arcs of 100 Year Quest to end up like this. Unless the rest of the arc is amazing, this is going to be a massive disappointment to end the 100 Years Quest with. And I'm praying that's not the case, because I really want this to end on a high note. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, give a thumbs up so you enjoy more Fairy Tail and other things. Thank you, and have a great day.